For generations, the formula for a stable life was treated as a guarantee. You worked hard, saved your money, bought a home, and built a future. But today, the finish line keeps moving further away, no matter how fast people run. Young adults today are working longer hours and earning more degrees than any generation before them. Yet many find themselves significantly further away from financial security than their parents were at the same age. These challenges exist beyond the scale of inflation, housing prices, or student loans. These are individual symptoms of a quiet, structural transformation in the American economy. Several economic shifts have reshaped the architecture of modern life. They form a systemic cascade, interconnected financial hurdles where each challenge reinforces the next. In this system, delaying one major life decision creates a chain reaction. Because the milestones are linked, failing to pass one actively builds the barrier for the next. Financial struggle is often framed as a personal failure, but that perspective ignores the reality of an economic machine designed to compound setbacks. In the 20th century, the housing market functioned as the bedrock of middle-class wealth. It was the primary mechanism for building long-term stability. For decades, wage growth and property values moved in a predictable alignment. A few years of disciplined savings was a mathematically consistent path to ownership. This graph shows the structural break. Wages remained flat, while housing prices hit a sharply escalating exponential curve. The gap between these lines is the wealth delay. It pushes the first wealth-building milestone back by a decade. Blocked from the housing market, young adults logically pivot toward higher education. They treat degrees as the necessary substitute for property to secure their future. This creates a mathematical trap. Millions now enter the workforce with a massive negative net worth, carrying significant debt before they have earned a single paycheck. This shift transforms the early earning years. Instead of a period for wealth accumulation, the first decade of adulthood becomes a period of wealth recovery. A broken housing market effectively forces a generation to mortgage their future earnings just to reach the starting line of the economy. That debt load demands immediate, consistent income. It forces workers to prioritize short-term cash flow over long-term stability, often leading them into a job market that rewards flexibility over loyalty. This is the upskilling treadmill. In an economy defined by short-term contracts, every new skill learned quickly becomes the minimum requirement just to maintain baseline relevance. Compounding this is the cost of modern digital life. Subscriptions and recurring fees quietly consume larger portions of monthly income. Individually, they seem manageable. Collectively, these micro-drains erode the financial margins that remain after debt repayment. They systematically destroy the capital needed to invest and break out of the cycle. The modern career path has shifted from a ladder to a treadmill, one that requires constant movement and resources just to stay in place. There is a psychological component to this architecture. Social media platforms function as a constant, unavoidable engine for global comparison. Algorithms curate highlight reels that mask the economic reality. Everyone else appears to be moving forward, even as the broader economy completely stalls. This digital illusion is the final trap. It encourages people to internalize these broad macroeconomic hurdles as their own personal failures. To find a way forward, look at the complete architecture. Housing delays drive education debt. Debt forces career instability. Instability increases hidden costs, and social pressure masks the closed loop. Here, traditional advice fails. The system extracts wealth endlessly, rather than providing an exit. Acknowledging the design of the system is the first step toward mitigating its effects. Navigating this economy requires prioritizing financial flexibility over traditional milestones that no longer offer the same returns. It means treating career adaptation as a primary defensive asset and managing debt not just as a balance, but as a barrier to the flexibility the modern market demands. Rejecting the pressure of too-hit social expectations is more than a lifestyle choice. It is a mandatory tactic to prevent reactionary spending in an economy with zero margin for error. The American dream still exists, but it requires a different set of decisions. Building a future today depends on understanding these forces and refusing to play by the rules of an economy that has already changed. The generation that stops trying to fit into the old economic model will be the first equipped to build something lasting within the new one.